Okay, can you guys speak?
Yeah, of course, bro. Of course. No problem.
Talk?
Yo,
Okay, it's working. We can just check on comments. Stock's got the comments, right?
it's definitely live because I can see the notification come up on my phone.
Yeah, I can check. Oh, my phone as
Ah.
well. Okay. Give it a couple of seconds, I guess. You can make tweets and stuff like that. I'm about to make a tweet myself.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, perfect.
Alright. It's good to be back, bro. I've missed
Same,
1
bro.
week. Feels so weird.
Just tweeted it out. Didn't say anything, but just tweeted it out simply. Just...
Yeah, because I saw a lot of people already like Stark's tweet. I was like, perfect, bro. People just like my tweet. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right.
You can cook, bro. You can cook.
All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FPL Roundtable podcast. I'm your host, Kanji FPL, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, FPL K-Man and FPL Stark. How you guys doing? I missed you guys last week. Hopefully it was a good episode. I did tune in. I really liked it. And shout out to Meerkat for joining, by the way. But hopefully you guys had a good game week 24.
I don't know, man. I had a green arrow, but I don't think it was a good game week.
For me, I mean, I had a fantastic game week. I'll be honest. I went from I think 3K to 2K. It could have been even better. It could have been one of those monumental like game week where I would have got like 145 something points. But I was quite close to that. But obviously, unfortunately, Moyes and Everton, aka Taco C, also had to run my game week towards the end. But it wasn't completely shambolic. It was still great. So I had a nice little green arrow.
Yeah. In terms of chip strategy, what do you guys have your AM active, right?
Yeah. I have my system manager on slot active.
What about you, Stark?
Yes, sir. I was on slot Aldinho.
So I was actually just looking at the chip statistics on Live FPL, and apparently 50% of managers in the top 10K had the assistant manager active, and then around 20% of people had the triple captain active. So if you didn't have one of those chips active, you have like 70% of people that do have a chip active. So you're basically guaranteed a red arrow. So, it'll be similar to people like this week. Like for example, people that activated the triple captain this week, unless they activate the AM next week, they're probably going to be behind the field. It's really interesting to see how people handle it. But yeah, how do you guys feel about that Bournemouth and Everton double? Like, did it meet your expectations going in terms of getting the results?
I just think it was such a turbulent FPL game week as a slot owner without any Everton. I had Nico Williams and Chris Wood. So, start of the game week was just amazing. It's such a high. And then, to be honest, it just ended on such it genuinely started on the highest of highs with Chris Wood hat trick. And then that Tarkowski fucking bullet volley to give Moyes owners plus, that was like a 12-point swing. It's just crazy, man. Such a low.
Yeah, man,
Do
that's
you know
tough.
what
Bro,
also hurts? Stug, you know what also hurts? It's the fact that we chose slot and we planned for slot ahead of time. And these fuckers that picked Moyes, by the way, I'm sorry, excuse my language. Apologies, guys, yeah. They didn't even plan to fucking use it on Moyes. They only used it because your double was announced. They were forced to do it because they already committed to triple Liverpool. So they got rewarded for being freaking not proactive, rather being lazy and not being planning well. And they got rewarded, bro. Casuals always gets rewarded, man. This season has been the rewarding of casuals, bro. Fuck, bro.
Yeah, no, it's facts. You could have just casted Salah every week. He would have been fine.
I guess
That is ridiculous.
actually, apologies. Actually, in a way, it actually also helped us slightly because those who actually went Moyes would have actually TC'd Salah. So let me take that back as well slightly because that would have also screwed me even more.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
So basically, when the double was announced, so a lot of people that were on TC Salah, reluctantly, they switched to Moyes because they realized double is ideally the best opportunity to use the AM right? Because on paper, the narrative was Salah has a difficult fixtures, Everton away as well as Bournemouth, and they're both solid defense, and people are reluctant to use a TC. So those who are reluctant obviously went towards the route of Moyes. But if they were to go with Salah, I would have probably get a red arrow, because then you
Yeah,
would be
because
insane.
I'm sure. Yeah, so if the double wasn't announced, yeah, you're saying that the EO on triple captain would have
How
been way
correct is
higher.
taking Man City by slow? Sorry, gone.
Yeah, like you're saying, like if the double wasn't announced, the triple captain EO would have been higher, right?
Yeah. I think I would have got punished a bit more, a lot
Yeah,
more. I
I would have been
think.
on triple captain myself. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that were maybe even considering being on triple captain. I'm probably not the only one that ended up not triple captaining, and the swing was massive. I think this was Salah's largest haul ever in FPL in a single week.
Yeah.
That's mad. And
He
to
didn't
think like a
even
lot of the community were on it as well, right?
he didn't even get many chances, man. Like so clinical in his actions, creative and goal scoring. Just he just didn't really get much in both games, but when he did, he just converted it. Like triple captainers, I would say they've they are very very fortunate, to be honest. They would have you would have ripped their hand off for that score in that two difficult fixtures that those were Bournemouth and Everton. Like Everton played
Facts, bro.
phenomenal, by the way. I think, to be honest, uh, every single time Everton got a set piece as a slot owner, I was literally like, that meme where the guy's drinking his drink and he's like, well, that was literally me every time I was watching Everton take a set piece as a slot owner, man.
Yeah, it
No,
makes sense. I was just
I want
looking
to
at
add
the
something on that as well. I think if this chip does go to next year, I don't think I'll be going for favorites, because now that I've
damn.
experienced it, I think I feel like the level of stress you have with the favorite, even if they're the best team in the world, like I just think it's draining, bro. Because I was watching the Bournemouth game and everything, and I was praying, bro. I was literally praying, please score, someone score, and and then obviously they scored, of course, but like like the Clivert one, he could have scored a goal, right? It could have been a 2-1, and then the game changes, right? So
Mm,
whereas a underdog, for example, like Iriola or Moyes, all they need to do is just sniff a draw and they win. That's all they need to do.
yeah,
They literally win with the draw.
Yeah, man.
yeah,
So
exactly.
Deserved, but they deserved something from the game. They played excellent, but the way they got the result, in my opinion, was just fraudulent. I don't know why it was the 98th minute with a +5 stoppage time, but we can't change that, can we? So
Yeah, there's nothing we can do. It's like the idea was that you got two double game weeks in a row. We're only at the 33% mark. There's no point in judging it until it's over. But for now, it's like Slot has like lost the battle, but you could still win the war. Like you do have another double game week coming up. People that went to Moyes,
but
they have to spend a transfer to
Kanji's
move them
slot
off.
ceiling is not high. His ceiling. This is why I tell Benji, he's in the chat as well. I tell Benji, Adu, and all other friends that are on X, right? I tell them the ceiling for slot is 20 points. You take out a guy like Trent, that guy has a ceiling himself at 20 points. Why not you go with
Yeah,
a Emery and you have a banker 10 points versus Ipswich, and then whatever you get versus slot, you get. Like whatever you take it. 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, whatever you get, you take it. Right? And then you also have Trent.
yeah,
And you
selling
don't waste
Trent
transfers.
is madness. It's
That's what I'm
madness.
saying.
yeah. And there's probably people that did that, or maybe even sold Gakpo as well, right?
Oh,
Like,
many. Many, bro, many.
yeah, it's mad, bro. Like I actually understood selling Allison more, but I think
But
Allison
even that didn't
outscored
work. Even that didn't
both of
work.
them,
Even
I
that
think.
backfired. That didn't work though,
Yeah,
Kanji.
Allison outscored like Trent, he outscored Gakpo, he outscored them all in the double, actually, Allison.
Benji, you will not put a single penny down for Ipswich to beat Villa. So don't say it's not a 10-point banker versus Ipswich. Don't do that right now. I promise you. Sorry, bro. I have to call spade a
Yeah,
spade, bro. I have to call spade a spade.
they're
Yeah.
like, given the rules, I feel like if you're backing a favorite, you want them to be at home, and you want them to be a team that like has like a 75 to 80% chance of winning. That's kind of when I'm looking at a favorite. Like I want this, but it's the fact that you have 5 games if you activated the AM and you're backing the best team in the world that just skews all of the logic. Like what I'm saying, it makes sense in a vacuum if you're trying to find the perfect situation to use the AM, but having 5 games even if something is suboptimal, might even outscore something that is optimal for 3 weeks in singles. So
Moyes owners are laughing. They're in an elite position. They've got through Liverpool. They got more points than us. It's simple move to Emery. I'm very confident they get that win versus Ipswich. You're potentially looking at 35 points if they smash Ipswich, right? 35 points of a game versus Slot. They get a draw, 45 points, one game. Like, the ceiling's so good with the Moyes route. With Slot on 15 points after 2 games, it's just like, you just feel like
It's fuck all. Stock is fuck all. It's fuck all.
it's not
I
just
would
that.
call it, yeah, literally.
What it is that I feel like this chip for me as a Slot owner, I'm going to lose to the field probably like 10 to 15 points minimum for everyone who uses AM chip. But it is what it is.
We learn, man. We
I mean,
learn. We live and we
of the
learn.
people that like activated it, you'll probably lose to the field for the Moyes owners, but I don't think you'll lose to the whole field. I mean, only 50% of
No,
people
we
had their
can
AM active.
we can lose it, because if they go for the route of an underdog in another double, say for example, with me and Stock, we looked at this from 31 to 33. Like, you go with, say for example, United, we have Bournemouth, and I think they play Arsenal, and then you go to Palace, who's got Bournemouth and Forest or someone like that. I can't remember. Like, that route has a ceiling of 70 points, Kanji.
Yeah.
So they can beat
But
us.
that's the thing. Everybody's prioritizing bench boost 33. I mean, we'll move to chip strategy and we'll discuss it
Yeah.
there.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing,
like,
the only saving grace is that with Slot, I don't waste the transfer. That's it, really. So that's literally the only saving grace. But you'd rather points than transfers. So.
Exactly, bro. I'd rather points, man. Like, right now, I'm regretting not going Moyes. I'll call it. I'll be on record. I'm regretting not going Moyes right now. And I was never going there, and I never had plans to go there because I didn't believe in it. But in terms of, am I regretting it? I think it was a mistake. Yes, I do think it was a mistake, and I do think that I underestimated Everton and Moyes. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know. So
I mean, they were just coming off the back of what, like 2 wins in a row after a new manager came in. Like, it was a perfect timing to be on Moyes, to be honest. It was just perfect timing. It's just the way it worked out. But in general, like, why would you want to be backing against the best team in the world? Best player in the world? That's crazy. But anyway, like, it worked out for them. It was the perfect scenario. 2 games at home. Like, one is easy game, one against the best team in the world where it's house money on the line. So they just got the result and they can sleep well. You know, their risk paid off in a way.
That's just an overestimated statement, to be honest. Best team in the world.
Yeah, but that's me. I'm a Liverpool fan.
Liverpool are not astronomically clear of anyone at the end of the day. They don't even have an out-and-out striker. So any team that puts up a good defense and shuts out Salah, they can get a result versus that Liverpool team.
Facts, bro. A lot of the GAs.
They were not convincing. They were not convincing versus Everton. I personally thought Everton deserved to win the way they played. I'll be honest.
Bournemouth deserved the result as well.
Yeah, I mean, Clive literally missed an open goal, Stark. Like, literally an open goal. He's looking at the floor or the pitch saying, is there something on the pitch? How did I just sky that? Like, 2 yards out.
When we were on 10 points of Slot from the Bournemouth game, I was so happy because that was a really difficult game, but 15 points could be worse. Let's move
on. Let's move on.
Let's talk about
the XG the XG in the Bournemouth game, by the way. It was 3.0 for Liverpool to 1.0 for Bournemouth. So the underlying data really favored Liverpool. But if you look at the Everton game, it was 1.0 for Everton and 0.6 for Liverpool.
In other words, Liverpool were dog shit and they didn't deserve anything versus Everton. That's all I'm gonna say. Now moving on. Moving on. Sorry, moving on to the. I know this week there's a lot of discussion about the double, whether to double up on the Villa assets, or if you have a Rodgers, should you get Watkins or should you buy any of the defenders? Obviously, Cons is injured. Should you be getting the likes of Martinez or maybe Disasi, whoever else is available? In terms of defenders, what are your thoughts on investing in Villa doublers?
I think that is really specifically put for people that are on free hit 29. Like, Villa assets, yeah, they have 2 games, but they have 2 games this week, but they also blank in 29. But if you're free hitting, then you're able to have 3 fixtures, right? Because you get the 2 now and you also get the 29 fixture from your free hit. But if you're not free hitting, you're only getting 2 fixtures now and you lose the 29 one. So there's no reason to really be targeting.
Are the defenders even an option? And then I'll get to the attackers. I think what you said applies to the attackers, but what about the defenders? Are they even an option?
Yeah. No, so Villa's defense is horrible. Like
So yeah,
realistically, like no
so
one really expects
yeah,
anything from them.
yeah. If you are a manager that loves double and you want to optimize your team and you have lots of free transfers, and even if you're not on free hit 29 and you still want to buy one or two assets, I do think you go for an attacker over a defender instead of like the trolls like Dinya, Konza, and whatnot. I do recommend, like, for me right now, based on the information we're available, if I were to buy one, it would be Rogers, and that's if you're in a luxurious position where you have multiple transfers to do switcheroos and you don't have too many, say, Palace assets or Newcastle assets. I'll give a rule of thumb is if you have like say 3 or 4 players blanking in game week 29, you can afford to, say, for example, buy Rogers for the double and then sell him off in 29. However, if you're on 6, 7, and 8 and you don't want a free hit in 29, don't buy Rogers or Watkins. Um, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, it makes sense. What's interesting is that when you look at like the expected goals created for teams on the season, like Liverpool are
Right.
first on 62 XG on the season. Chelsea are second on 52 XG, and then Bournemouth are actually third. They're ahead of Arsenal, they're ahead of Man City, they're ahead of Spurs. So like even though Bournemouth assets are priced super cheap, like you can still consider them, right? So it's like if you're sitting here and you're not on free hit 29, surely you would just target a Bournemouth midfielder over an Aston Villa one, right?
Yeah, listen, at this point of the season, I'd say you must be quite a fairly engaged manager. So you need to make every move you make has to coincide with your long-term chip strategy. And you need to realize that there's a ripple effect with every chip that you use. It's a knock-on effect, every transfer. Like Kanji said, if you're free hitting in 29, you need to really make the most of that and target the fixtures now on either side of that, and the double 33. So you get your Palace, you've got Newcastle, you've got Liverpool, like essentially triple up. Who else? Who am I missing? Villa for
Aston
the
Villa.
double as well. So that way you don't have to worry about 29. Whereas someone like myself, I'm not free hitting in 29. So in order to navigate it, it doesn't make sense for me to get Villa, even though they got double fixture. It's that simple, really. You have to be strict. You can't
Exactly.
be planning and not taking hits will help you in this run because you start the game week off on the green arrow because there's so many hits flying about.
Exactly. So, like, let's look at somebody that has like an Ahmad in their team, for example. They have a couple of free transfers saved up and they're looking to spend it on bringing in a midfielder. If they're on free hit 29, we'd obviously just say go for Rogers because you get the extra game before and probably a double in 33. But if you're not on free hit 29, then of the Bournemouth mids, like, which are the ones that you're looking to target? Because they're all good in their own right. You know, you see, you have Dango Otara, who's playing is out of position as a midfielder in FPL, but a striker for Bournemouth, especially because even Nielsen is injured for now. There's no update on him when he's going to be coming back. It's supposed to be in a month and a half. Could be wrong, but there hasn't been any pictures of him in the gym or training on the grass or anything like that at all. So we don't have a timeline on when he's coming back. Semenyo is their best player. He's the type of guy that can play on the right wing, on the left wing, got a 5-star weak foot. After Lincoln left, he's just been their main guy, gets all the minutes, so you don't have to worry about him long term. And Kluivert's been the guy that's on the penalties, right? So in the way that he's been playing, he's been picking up more minutes relative to where he was earlier on in the season. If you look at the underlying data, like XGI per 90, Kluivert is higher up because he's on the pens. Then you have Dango because he's the striker, he gets a bulk of the chances. Then you have Semenyo. So it's an interesting decision where it's like if you're looking short term, you would probably go Dango, right? Because at least you get the striker. But if you're thinking longer term, you probably want to prioritize Semenyo. Like, what do you guys think?
I think that the Evan Nielsen news that I've seen on X is that he's due back March. And so if you activated your AM chip in 24, your AM chip will be active for the whole of the month of February. So the next 3 game weeks are quite well spread out. So Evan Nielsen could be back by game week 27, 28. So for me, Utara is not really long term as a striker, priced as a midfielder. It's a short term vision, and essentially moves now are very precious. So I would be worried about Utara. As you can see with the data, they're very close. It's all money dependent. If you've got the money for all three, then I would go Kluivert because he's on pens and he's got more routes to points and he's in great form and he's playing as the cam. And I just like his general positioning from an eye test perspective, and his data backs it up. But realistically, you can't go wrong between any of them. If you're short for money, potentially go Semenyo. But I think Semenyo and Kluivert are very similar price.
Yeah, it's interesting because like when you look at the data, it's like if you look at Semenyo versus Uchara for chances created, it's very similar. Look at it for big chances missed, is very similar. But Dangle is doing this in like half the minutes of Semenyo. So if the minutes are like relatively the same, then Dangle's probably the better pick. But if there's risk to it, right? So if you still have your wild card in your back pocket, I would probably prioritize Clivert first because he's on pens, and then Dango. But if you're looking to like be safer, I'd go Semenyo instead of him. But I think Clivert is ahead. What do you guys think?
Well, I would like to add my 2 cents because I've been unfortunately one of those victims that has been an owner of a Bournemouth asset to start the season, and I've held Semenyo on my team for 12 weeks and kept him through the bad run. And I played him in like 4 or 5 good fixtures. He only got me 1 return in 5 game weeks, and I watched him for every single one of those games. He is an asset that's on the eye test. He passes in terms of he's flashy. He will take a man. He will beat his man and whatnot, but he will be quite wide, and the shots that he'll be taking are quite low xG outside the box, and he doesn't really get into the positions of tapping in goals like in the 6 yard box. So in terms of between Dango and Clivert, I think obviously Dango there's a risk associated with it because we don't know when Evanescence is back. If he's back soon, then obviously that's a big risk. If that wasn't the case, and if you were to say, you want to get the best one and you're not really sure about, you don't really care about the risk, I think Dango has probably the best ceiling. But in terms of overall safe and template is Clivert. But I definitely like Dango ahead of Semenyo if he is nailed, which we think he's not if Evanescence is back. Because I feel like he would get into the positions where he would basically Cliver and Semenyo and others will be creating for him, and he will be at the end of it, getting the goals, and that's what you need from your players. So I would say Cliver at one because pens, minutes, nailed, talismanic ish. So obviously, and his template to be fair. And if you were to be in a bit of a pickle between Semenyo and Dango, I think it's a Dango. But again, short term. So
Yeah, I guess there's one more question to discuss, which would be like a Hoyson versus Kirkez. If you're considering bringing in like a Bournemouth defender, their fixtures are incredible. They've already played like Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea since the fixtures that flipped from game week 19. So they have a very good fixture run for the next like 6 to 8 weeks. So if you're looking to bring in a Bournemouth defender between, Hoyson, who feels like the young up and coming Van Dyke type of player for Bournemouth, and he's priced at 4.4, the center back, or would you consider a Kirkes, who's angling for a move potentially to like Liverpool in the summer, priced at 5.0? Do you guys have any preference between them?
Yeah, I'm making this decision myself personally because I'm not free hitting in 29. So this is my Lewis Hall replacement, so I can have an extra defender in 29. And I've made the move, and I went with Kirkes because I've got the money to do so. So it was a genuine option. Whereas other managers, it's just that simple for me. If you don't have the money, Hoyson's a great pick. If you've got the money, I'd prioritize Kirkes because of his positioning. He's got higher involvement creative wise, but Hoyson's a very big threat from set pieces. So
it's the traditional argument of when you're picking FPL assets, you want them to be rather a fullback instead of a centre back because they'll be bombing forward and there'll be there's a high likelihood of them being involved in one of the attacking plays, whether they get an assist or a goal. With centre backs, obviously you're relying on mainly clean sheets and obviously occasional headers. You don't expect a guy like Houston to average 10 goals a season or 5 goals even. That's ridiculous. Maybe 3 or 4 headers a season, and he's already had 2. So I do think that if you have the budget and the budget is not an issue, I do think Kirkers is clear in terms of the better option. But if you didn't have the money, Hoyson is a nice option. It's not terrible.
yeah, just to quickly finalize some point on this. Semenyo's been moved to left wing, and Iriola did come out and say that Semenyo and Kirkes have been linking up extremely well in his press conference, and that's something that he's keen to continue. So obviously that relationship that they're building, it is. I think that's also helping Semenyo cut inside more because Kirkes is overlapping more. So that's just something to keep an eye on because these relationships in football, they do help create attacks and give you attacking returns.
Yeah, like a perfect like example would be if you look at Arsenal and you look at Odegaard's relationship with Ben White and Bukayo Saka, and you ask yourself like, why has Odegaard been so poor? Well, it's because he was always working on that right hand side triangle, and now both of them are gone, and now Odegaard looks like a shell of himself.
Do you know what I've noticed though? Obviously, maybe the formation has changed, and I've not been watching Bournemouth as I was watching them when I owned Semenyo, and I was really focused on him. Right, I had four eyes on him. What I realized when Tavernier comes in, right, Stark, Tavernier and Evan Nilsson and Clive were playing. Those two were the most advanced up, and they were in the box, and they were getting the most of the chances. Semenyo was really wide. I mean, like I watched him for 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, he was no once close to even being in the box, bro. Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's definitely changed though since he's moved to the left with Kirkes overlapping because
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Evan Nilsson's not playing no more. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
are up front, and they're very fluid. Sometimes they transition between positions. It's a very when you don't have an out and out striker. The attacking seems to be a bit more free flowing. Like
That's
it's like
true.
when
Yeah.
Chelsea had Hazard up front back in the day. Just
Yeah.
very free fluid between Oscar, Mata, and Torres. But yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't really go wrong with these guys though, in general. Like the Bournemouth guys are all good picks. Like, Dango just has a little bit more upside. There's a little bit more risk, more reward. But in terms of Hoyson versus Kirkez, I think the answer is actually Hoyson. Like this is the reason. Like he's obviously point 0.6 in cost savings based on price. But on top of that, Hoyson is the second best player in the game for baseline bonus, which actually surprised me. Only behind Trent, obviously the GOAT, Trent Alexander-Arnold, but Hoyson's insane. He's picked up 11 bonus points and he's only started around 13 games. He's 11 bonus points.
That's interesting,
He's only
Kanji. How
scored
is he getting bonus points when they're averaging this many goals, though? How is he doing that? Like, that's
because
crazy.
he's such a bonus points monster. He must be doing so well in the BPS system. Kepa doesn't make as many saves as you think because the defense is so solid. They're actually dominating a lot of the games. Like they press so high and they win the ball back up so high. I don't even think Kepa faces many shots, maybe. But yeah, he just does very well in the BPS system. I'll have to like do a deeper dive into why, but he's great for
Yeah. Then
BPS.
I'm
And for
probably
his
gonna bring him in,
price,
bro.
he's
I'm
good.
gonna bring him in this week. I think. Look.
It's not even just bro, it's not even just BPS. If you look at underlying data in terms of like expected goal involvement per 90, like Hoyland's at 0.16 and Kirkes is at 0.1. And if you break down that 0.16 for Hoyson, it's
But
0.1 of it is XG.
that's because he's taking corners. Like that's a bit like he's taking corners though, isn't it? Like he's on set pieces.
No, no,
No.
no, no. So like no, no. So Hoyson is at 0.16, the center back.
Okay.
So and of the 0.16, 0.1 of it is XG because he's getting his head on the end of corners because he's so tall. And then it's like when you look at like Kirk has his XG of 0.1, 0.8 of it is actually XA. So
Mhm.
Hoyson is probably the better pick for cheaper. And if they were the same price, I'd still pick Hoyson. It's so odd. Like it's actually very odd. But
yeah,
like
that's
when you look at it from an eye test perspective, Kirkes is definitely clear.
Do you know why I think he does well on the BPS? By the way, Hoyson. When I watched him, he's so smooth on the feet with the ball, bro. He's a modern centre back, bro, and he progressed the ball really well. Like a bit like Lissandro. Like he's very comfortable on the ball. In terms of like, but I just don't see him like taking shots or anything like that. I've never seen him take a single shot ever.
the only shots he gets are obviously headers from set pieces, which are big chances, which would make sense as to why he perhaps has more XGI per 90. However, for me, to conclude my thoughts on it, I would go Kirkes. I have gone Kirkes. That's because I've got the money to do so. I think they're both great picks. If you're
Yeah.
struggling for money and you maybe plan to get Haaland in for 29, Hoyson's a great pick. Take advantage of his cheap price. And for the mids, I wouldn't touch Atara. Semenyo or Cliver, I think they're both are great options. I just wouldn't touch Dango because it doesn't suit my playstyle in terms of transfers. I want a long-term pick all the way through to 33 for the double game week. And I'd be worried about Utara post 28 when Evan Nilsson's back because, as Thinking Cap highlighted in the chat, I think Ben Dinnery, he's referring to, said Evan Nilsson's been on grass. So his return is imminent.
Damn, that's just a perfect yellow flag on Dango, really. That's why
Short,
you just go Svenio then. That
short,
that sort
short
of
term
nails
upside,
it.
but long term, it's a transfer out perhaps, or he's on your bench if you've got two Bournemouth mids. Depends on your strategy.
Yeah, I
My
mean, we've all been
yeah,
admirers of Semenyo, right? So
my conclusion is, boys, I'm not a big fan of Semenyo. I've been burnt. And one thing I've learned this season, when someone has burnt you, like it's one of those situations where you left your ex for a reason. Don't go back there. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So the only time I've done that is with Chris Wood. And that was my childhood crush, from day one. You know what I'm saying? When you have those primary, secondary school crush, those are the one you go back to, yeah. And I had Chris Wood from Gameweek 1. I saw him twice and I went back to him because that was my crush. What can I do? Do you know what I mean? Whereas Semenyo and this DCL and these bums, yeah, Eze, I'm not going back there. It's not gonna work. We've tried it didn't work. See you later. Cliver, welcome. But yeah, should we move
But
on?
by the way, just for anyone, like there is potential for Cliver to potentially miss the game. Like his wife is pregnant, just something to keep in mind.
And come on, bro. This is just gonna put doubts in people's head, bro. Come on, you're doing Andy Martin now, guys. Look, that's to obviously take that into consideration, but don't let that influence your decision, like fully. Like that's just a small percent of something they should take into consideration. But I do think even if you're buying right now, you still buy Cliver. That small percentage of small chance of him not attending the game could cost you maybe from him scoring a hat trick or something like that, just because of Andy Martin's tweet. And I think it's very dangerous. So I want to caution that. It's just a small detail. It shouldn't impact your decision by that much. And I personally bought Cliver already, knowing this information, anyways. So
same.
Shall we move on?
Let's move on to Aston Villa, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we're in an interesting position where like if you're on slot as your AM, you've gotten 22 points versus 15. Sorry, if you were on Moyes for AM, you got 22 points versus 15 for slot. So you're 7 points up. And now the question to ask yourself is, do you go for the next underdog and try to chance it again? What would you guys do if you guys were a slot owner? Because if you are, you most likely already have 3 Liverpool in your team, in your actual FPL team, excluding your manager, right?
You
What
mean
would you
Moyes?
guys do?
You mean Moyes owner, right? Not slot owner.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right, okay. Simple for me. If I had 3 Liverpool and I had Moyes, I would transition to Emery with the belief that he gets 10 points versus Ipswich. I think that's a given. And then you're in a very good position. You're up on slot and you've got a double chance of basically being 14 to 20 points up on him, even if they draw. Because if they draw versus Liverpool at home, they're 20 points up with the last game. They're looking at perhaps 40 points with another potential underdog in 26. It just makes sense, man, because Trent, Gakpo, and Salah, they all have a 20-point ceiling in the double game week. So why would you move off them for a ceiling of 20 points in slot? I don't know, man. I would just go for Emery. It just makes sense for me if that's what I would do. Personally.
Unless one of them were injured, though. Unless Gakpo was actually injured stock. If we find out that he's injured. Because you still want triple Liverpool in this fixture because this is such a good fixture, right? And slot will be your triple Liverpool essentially. If Gakpo is not if Gakpo is out, and that's the only scenario I would understand. But otherwise, if he's fine, if Trent is fine, you just rock with Emery, man.
They're at home. They're at home versus Ipswich, and their home record under Emery since he's joined is phenomenal. I don't understand how anyone can think that is not like a 60-70% plus banker fixture for them at home versus Ipswich. I understand the doubts versus Liverpool, but
it's Aston Villa, bro. Like we don't know how much we can trust them.
Bro,
that's the thing. Especially with the doubt
Aston
around
Villa is a
Watkins and
bogey
Konsa
team for top
injured
teams, bro. I'm sorry. Aston Villa is a bogey team, bro. They're literally the definition of bogey team, especially with under Emery, bro. They take points off top teams for fun.
Facts.
That's that.
Facts, bro.
In terms of, I think we already touched on it. Obviously, structure and team dependent, and your chip strategy dependent, whether you buy the Villa assets or not. And you guys can see.
Another one though.
Yeah.
Another one. So some people might be tempted to sell Isak for Watkins. Me personally, I don't see Watkins getting back-to-back 90 minutes due to the knock he got and due to the options Emery has and the amount of games they have in this little period. So I could see Watkins 70 minutes versus Ipswich, potentially 90 versus Liverpool, but Liverpool is a difficult fixture anyway. Obviously, you could still get something. Beto got 20 points in a double game week, and Watkins is superior, and Villa are superior. However, I just think I'd be very worried as a Watkins owner, and it's too short term. So I would not be selling Isak, who I think could get 2 goals versus this City team with the space they leave on transition. So I would just stick with Isak. I wouldn't move off Isak for Watkins. But Rodgers is a good punt.
I agree.
Yeah,
I just put these fixtures in there so that people can look at their team and see how many Villa players they have currently, how many Palace players they have, how many Liverpool and Newcastle have, because all these teams they blank in 29. So depending on that number and depending on how many free transfers you have, you can decide if you want to jump on Watkins or Rogers or any defenders from Villa. That would be a good indication. I personally think, as I said, 3 to 4 players. If you have that much, maybe you go to your Rogers. But if you have anything more than 4 or 5 already, that's blanks, that would be too hard to navigate in 29, personally. So I would just prioritize Bournemouth mid over, say,
yeah,
Rodgers.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have to take an L at some point, whether it's like 29 or 34. I mean, we'll get to when we do chip strategy
So I was
planning, but
supposed to take an L last week, Kanji. I was supposed to take an L last week and this week, but because I didn't have any Everton at all, I completely said no. Period.
yeah,
Did you get it
facts,
right?
bro. Yeah,
And I'm avoiding it again. Like I'm missing 2 doubles for 2 teams back to back.
facts, bro.
Like so, yeah,
Uh,
man. Moving
It'd
on.
be interesting to see how things play out.
Yeah.
So in this graphic, we have like the predicted blanks and doubles. Just a quick overview. So going into next week, we have the double game week for Liverpool, who have Wolves at home and then Aston Villa away. But then Aston Villa have the 2 home games of Ipswich at home and Liverpool at home. So those fixtures have actually come from game week 29. So that's why Liverpool and Aston Villa are going to blank. And also, there's like a 99% chance that Newcastle and Crystal Palace are going to blank in 29, which you could have seen in the graphic Cayman had in the other one. So those blanks in 29, that double for Liverpool is coming to 25, and the game for Newcastle and Crystal Palace is moving into game week 33. So that's kind of how the way the fixtures are going to be moving. In general, when you're looking at the fixture gurus for Ben Crellin and Jason Planet FPL, they expect double game week in 33 to be the largest of this season. And there is potentially another blank coming in for the FA Cup semifinals in game week 34, and that will lead to a double in game week 36. So just like keep that in mind when you're looking to like plan your fixtures. And we were just like talking about chip strategy in general. I've already used my wildcard, so I'm on a completely different plan than I guess most of the field will be and most of the community as well. So my plan will be very different
So
than
I can
most.
just show you your
But
plan,
in
Kanji. This
general,
is your plan. You can just mention your plan and then we can go back to the
okay,
general.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So my plan is a little bit different where we have the Liverpool fixture coming in. I did pre-plan for this. So I wanted to wildcard in 24 because I looked at the Liverpool double game week and I didn't expect 2 wins. I didn't trust Liverpool's record against Everton historically, as well as playing against Bournemouth away from home where Bournemouth were like undefeated in their last 10 games. I just didn't think it was on paper a good opportunity for 2 wins. And from backing a favorite, that's what I would have wanted from AM. And then from the other side, I know Everton had Leicester, but I thought they were going to lose easily to Liverpool. So I just didn't want to go betting against Liverpool either. So that's why I wasn't high on AM, even though it was double double and on paper it probably will score the most points. I was just thinking like I might be able to find a really good opportunity later in the season. I'm like, okay, what's the best way for me to navigate this? And I was thinking to myself, I either have to triple captain 24 or have to potentially triple captain 25. And I took the risk that Liverpool were going to beat Spurs in the FA Cup, and I wildcarded. So if you can just like quickly move to the wildcard slide, I don't know if it's there.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
there.
perfect. So
Yeah.
like this is going to be the way that my team is set up for next week in game week 25. We have like my double Bournemouth midfield. As well as those are like basically when you're looking at Bournemouth, they have the best fixtures coming up. So I felt like the more Bournemouth players you can get into your team, the better. Obviously, I had my triple Everton from last week, which is left over. But now that Everton and Chelsea are out of the FA Cup, that means that Everton and Chelsea won't have a double game week in the future. If you just go back up to the slide above,
Sorry,
you can see
apologies. I
that
think
like
apologies, Kanji. I think I've put the wrong team for Game Week 25 in there. But just to
yeah, no,
clarify,
I know.
yeah, apologies. So just to clarify, the team on the right is Stark's team. I should have put Kanji's team for Game Week 25, which I will show you later on. But the left team is the
Yeah,
Game Week 24's team. So ignore the right team, please. That's Stark's team. But go on, Kanji.
Gonna
yeah,
say,
yeah,
that
no
team
worries.
is looking sexy. Oh,
But start. So
So
Kanji, you want me to show you show you your Game Week 25 team now?
yeah, it'd
Okay.
be
Yeah,
easier to
yeah,
like
yeah.
explain it
I'll show
like
you right
that.
now. Yeah, there we go. This is your 25 team. I got it wrong here as
Yeah.
well. This is
No,
wrong as well.
no,
Oh
that's
my.
not me either.
This is
Oh
you
my
have a
god.
Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry.
I'm sorry. Let me fix this.
Don't worry, bro.
You
Don't
you
worry.
cook you cook while I fix this. So
Yeah, just take me back to like my plan, and I can walk it through.
okay,
Don't
okay.
worry.
You cook while I fix this.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Okay. So in this graphic, you can basically see that I have my wild card in 24. I've explained already that like the Everton situation where Chelsea and Everton were supposed to potentially have a double game week in 34, that potential double for Everton has gone off the cards. Like the reason I was so happy to wildcard was that it kept me very flexible. I could have free hit in 29. I could have also not free hit in 29 because the Everton players were supposed to double, and then they could have played in 29, the Everton players, and they also could have had a double later. But now that Chelsea and Everton are out, that basically means that their double later is not going to be coming in. So that basically means that in my strategy now, I'm looking to probably just free hit 29, and I need to just sell my Everton players. Like that's the way that I'm thinking about my team because Everton players don't have a double game week anymore. And if I'm looking specifically at my team, I've got Watkins and Isak as my front line. I'm hoping to keep them for the rest of the season. I really just believe those are the two best strikers in the game apart from Holland. Honestly, even including Holland. From a value perspective, I really think those are the two best ones. I'm hoping like Watkins is going to stay fit. I mean, if he's injured, that would just be a story of my season. But I'm hoping that he's fit. So that would be my front two. And then I'm looking at Salah and Palmer. Now, what's interesting with this strategy is that Salah is supposed to blank in 29, right? So I'm happy to just like free hit when Isak and Salah are going to blank, probably the two best premiums in the game. And then I'm going to get to game week 33, where it's like I'll have a lot of players that are going to be doubling. For example, you have the Newcastle players that have a double game week in 33, and they have good fixtures from 30 to 33.
I
And if you
think it's
look at
fixed now,
Crystal
Kanji.
Palace,
Sorry. I think it's fixed now, Kanji. So now it's showing your 24 and 25 team. I hope it's correct. Can you double check?
do you, the,
So it does
no,
show
this is
Munoz.
basically like my
So it
this
does
is basically my
show.
25 team. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does show Munoz, Trent, Konate with Kepa at the back for your 25 team. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
It's my the one on the right is my team. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
this is fine.
basically, like,
Yeah.
yeah, the idea was I went early on the wild card. I took the risk on asking Villa players to get the double game week, and it worked out. They now have a double game week. It's looking pretty crazy where I have 5 potential double game weekers. It should have been 6 because it should have been Konza in my team instead of Munoz, but I'll live with it. Like it's fine. I mean, they probably would have matched each other. In fact, Munoz outscored Mikalenko this week already. So hopefully he can do the same. This guy's not a defender; he's really like a midfielder or right winger at times. But I think the picks in general are really hard to dispute. Like you have Salah, Bumo, Palmer, Clivert, Watkins, and Isak are probably just some of the best picks in the game. Like genuinely. So it's like that one spot of Rogers versus like a Chris Wood versus a Semenyo. That spot is where I will have nightmares because Rogers is basically going to determine whether my weeks are going to be green or red. I'm happy to take on Watkins with any striker in the game, but that's the one where I'm like, we'll see how things go. Trent is the obvious cash cow downgrade at some point. Like Konate for me is like a season hold. He just represents way too much value to be buying into like a top 2 defense for 5.0. And Kepa just has really good fixtures, so he's just going to be starting for the foreseeable. So I think if I wanted to find money to upgrade Rogers, it would come from a Trent downgrade, but I also don't want to do that either because Trent's my favorite player. So we'll have to see when we get there. But I guess in general, the wild card, it's worked out exactly as I expected, apart from if Watkins gets injured. So just the plan is to start selling my Everton players to prepare for a bench boost in game week 33.
One question, right, Kanji? I'm assuming, or correct me if I'm wrong. You have wildcarded in game week 24. It wasn't planned. It was due to the fixture just being announced, isn't it? And
Yeah,
you have had
yeah.
injuries, so you had to think of something because you didn't have enough transfers to deal with the injuries that you've had. And not only that, you also couldn't have optimized the double. Now that you have wildcarded, you are optimizing game week 24/25 um, with wildcard. Now I feel like this is your week of banker. I feel like because I don't think anyone would have Rogers and what well not majority of people wouldn't have Watkins and Rogers. Very few would have the combination of I think people who have one or the other. And then the fact that you also have look, a solid like triple Liverpool up with defense as well as triple captain on Salah. Like I think those are the key things that are differential in your team. And I expect from your team on paper as it looks, it should be a big green arrow for you. Like on
I
paper.
hope so, man.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
So I mean, it's crazy. Like you'll see, like last week, Salah got like what 30 points. You got 29 points. I'm sure like I'll probably end up with like 10. That's just the way
Nah,
my
nah,
season has
nah. Come
been,
on,
bro.
man.
But like we'll see how things go. It's like you put yourself in a good position on paper and the results will be what they are, right? But that's what happens when you wild card, you're trying to optimize short term, but you also want to keep an eye on the long term.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like I need to start just getting rid of Pickford and India. Like these guys are just dead wood at this point.
Just one thing, my advice would be for you: just always keep an eye on the game week 34 blank and plan ahead as much as possible on how you would navigate that because you are planning to free in 29. That's my advice
Yeah,
would be for you.
yeah,
But yeah,
perfect. Do you have like the Ben Krellin slide?
yeah. So this one, right there we go. Yeah,
Yeah, so like basically the advantage of it from it depends how you are if you're a graphical person or you like to look at it like this, where I am free hitting in 29. So if you act like free hit like in the game week 29 fixtures don't exist, I'm able to get a double game week from Aston Villa and Liverpool in 25, and Aston Villa are very likely to double in game week 33. So technically, if I'm free hitting in 29, I should have two extra fixtures for my Aston Villa players, right? Or at least one extra if you're gonna have a Bournemouth mid in that position.
yeah.
And like Liverpool, it's like they don't have a double game week in 33, but they play Leicester. We'll probably destroy them like 3 or 4-0 or 3 or 4-1. I think that's what I would expect, even though it's away. So I mean, a team in general, like it looks good. The idea is to free hit in 29, bring in the Crystal Palace players because if you look at Palace, they have Ipswich before and Southampton after. They have Brighton as well. Brighton haven't been playing well. So Palace players are going to be a good way for me to maximize points on my route. So bring in Aston Villa, bring in Palace, bring in Newcastle, bring in Liverpool, free hit in 29, and get to game week 34 and try to figure things out. I want to put myself in a position where I can have like 5 free transfers come game week 34. And I don't think I'm going to be getting a green arrow in 34. Like, I think I'm just looking to survive. Like, I'll be covering up a lot of the effective ownership because, like, this of the big hitters that play, Salah and Palmer will be the big hitters that will play in that week. But those are the same players that won't double in 33. So when I get to 33, I'll have to make a big decision
Well,
whether I'll sell like a Palmer.
you just get rid of Palmer. You have to. His fixture's turn, except for 34.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So the
Yeah,
question is like, would you sell a Palmer in 33 for a Foden,
absolutely. I
even though
would.
he
I would.
blanks
I
in
would.
34?
Oh,
Yeah, so
that's
that's where the
difficult. Sorry,
decision
that's
will get
difficult. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, that's difficult.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
it's
when
difficult.
we get there, we'll have to decide. Like, obviously, Palmer is a sell from 35, but
No, but
well, when we get to like,
this is what I don't want you to do because I don't want you to keep saying when we get there. I want you to keep an eye on these projections and plan ahead because that will dictate whether you sell Palmer or not. Because you need to plan for that before you get. Because right now, every move you make has to be in that thing mind because your get out of jail free card of wild card is not there. Do you know what I'm trying to say, Kanji? And the
exactly,
second
yeah, and there's no free hit as well.
yeah, exactly. And the second get out of jail free card, which is free hit, you're also losing that. So I want you to think of that. Your eyes should be on 34 because the rest you're sorted. You already know what you're gonna do for your double 33, blank 29. The rest is just sorted itself. It's just the one thing in your side right now is 34. But yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. So the idea would be to get to like 8 players, cover up a majority of the attackers,
yep,
and just
yep,
live with it.
yeah. That's it. Yep,
So that's the dream scenario.
yep.
Yeah. So that's
Um,
that's the way that my wild card is looking out for
that
now.
makes sense, bro. Makes sense. Stark, you got any thoughts?
Wait. One sec, one sec. One of the reasons that I really wanted to pull the trigger on this wild card is that my rank is horrible. So it's like you have this action bias, but at the same time, when you're looking at your team, you can't justify a hit for Isak to Watkins. You can't. Like Man
No,
City
you
have been
can't. You can't.
horrible
Yeah,
this
you
season.
can't. You can't.
Like Isak is gonna score, bro. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna get something this weekend. So basically, most people look at their team, unless they have like a Jackson in that striker spot, or maybe even like a Gakpo. You wouldn't sell Gakpo to Watkins because he's doubling as well.
Well,
So
people are
basically,
selling wood
most
though.
people,
People are selling wood actually,
if you have
Kanji.
money, yeah, if you have money, yeah, if
Because
you
if
have
they
the
have
money to
Bruno, for
do
example,
wood
people
up,
have Bruno, they go to Rogers and they go to Watkins from Chris Wood.
yeah, sorry,
That's something Stark can
sorry.
do as well. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have money, you'll make that move. But here's the thing, you won't do it because you're losing a fixture in 29. And this is the biggest reason that I had to go on this. I was looking at chip strategy a lot and I kept thinking to myself, like in 24, I was thinking to myself, like, if I was in this position, would I bring Watkins in? And I kept going to the answer of no. And that's the exact reason I wanted to go to Watkins. Because I don't think
Get it.
anyone can justify going there.
No, I get it.
But let's
I
see what
get.
happens
Yeah.
now.
So this is what I'm
It's
saying.
so
25 is your banker,
unfortunate that,
bro. 25 is your
yeah, it's
banker.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate he's gotten injured though. Like it's the story of my
Yeah,
season,
that's
man.
so
Like
sad.
I
Yeah, that's
get
actually
so
unlucky.
many
Yeah.
injuries, like DCL, Watkins, Konza. Like if these guys are all missing time, it ruins my whole chip strategy. But let's see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll have to live with the result. and
Yeah, it's
see how it
unlucky,
goes.
honestly. Stark, thoughts?
Yeah, just hope that you get the green arrows you need now, because I think you'll get some red ones when it comes to later on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, makes sense.
Should we touch on the generic chip strategy? Going back to it, now that Kanji's explained his obviously unorthodox route. It's obviously not many people are going to do that. It's a very unique situation. The generic one, I've obviously slightly amended it, Kanji. But the one route was originally already there was TC25, free hit 29, AM31 to 33, and dead end 34, and wildcard 35 and bench boost 36. I think that route is not practical now, personally, unless you have 5 transfers come game week 34 when you're dead ending there, unless you have like 5 transfers.
Yeah,
Um,
because
I,
you'll need to spend your transfers preparing for a bench boost.
yeah, I think what we should be instead there, Kanji. I think we should probably put AM 30, 35 or AM 36 to 38, 30, right, and put wildcard 31 to 32, and free hit 34,
Mm,
and maybe we
yeah,
and then it should be changed from like instead of free hit 29, navigate that. And the second option
yeah. So
was,
you're
yeah, gone.
yeah. So you're basically saying like navigate 29,
Yeah,
wildcard 30 or 31, bench
yeah,
boost 33, free hit 34, AM
yeah.
36 to 38.
Yeah, exactly. And second option is
Yeah, makes
if
sense.
someone has not used no chips, I'll say TC25, navigate blank 29, bench boost 33 if you can, right? And free hit 34 and walk out 35. Or it could be the other way around, you know? So
Yeah, it depends
yeah,
how well you feel close to like a bench boost in 33. It just depends on
exactly.
your
Yeah,
team.
it's all depends on fixtures as well. How many doublers you get depends on if you get lots of doublers or not. So yeah, but touching on me and Stark, myself and Stark, we are on still the original chip strategy. Thank God we're still there, has not changed. For now, we're still on AM24. We've already used it, it's activated, and we're currently planning on obviously navigating blank 29. We're still on that plan. We built our teams towards that, and we're on free hit 33, dead end 34 blank with 5 free transfers, and wildcard 35 and bench boost 36. The bench boost slash that free hit could swap simply because if we see that it's more optimal to use the bench boost, maybe we'll make that decision come game week 30, 31, depending on how many doublers we get, or maybe we'll free hit in game week 34. So that will depend on the announcement. So we're very flexible with our chip strategy, and I could show it here. To be honest, you can see it's highlighted with obviously box. Stark, if you want to touch on this, bro. Yeah.
That's mine. That's my chip strategy, bro.
Oh, sorry, apologies. That's our one. There.
Got it, yeah?
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, so this is R1, which you should have probably memorized by now. We talked about it so much.
Yeah, literally been rambling on about it for weeks and weeks. It's just solid if you've used your triple captain, and I just really like 3 hit in either 33 or 34, because it's going to be a big double and it's a knock-on effect. Those who double in 33 essentially blank in 34, aside from Palace. So if you maximize the bench boost in 33, if you don't have a plan for 34, you're going to have to accept a red arrow, or you weaken the red arrow, but you also decrease the green arrow. So it's like it's a knock-on effect. It's like you either want a massive green and then a big red, or you want little green, little red. Whereas in our strategy, we can free hit 33 and put out a really strong team, and then we have 5 free transfers for 34, and we have players before 33 that play in 34, so we won't have to make as many moves. We won't have as many blankers, or it's
Stuck,
vice versa.
I'll go as far as to say we'll have the almost the same team as the free hit 34
Yeah,
because
essentially, yeah.
because we'll be carrying the Liverpools and Chelsea's, like for example Palmer and whatnot.
But
Yeah,
the downside to the strategy is that in the meantime, the teams like Palace have strong fixtures, and that's the
yeah,
upside. Free hit 29, so we need to basically match what these Palace guys can do, which I'm confident we can.
yeah.
To be honest,
To be
and
honest, I already have Palace Mateta myself. I already jumped on him early.
I've got Munoz, so
So exactly, yeah. So we
I've
both
got
have
Wood.
one.
I've got Wood and Isak as my strikers, and they're just cooking every week. To be honest,
Yeah.
essentially, I need Bruno Fernandes to actually stop playing CDM. Otherwise, he's a serious cancer in my team.
Yeah, man, Bruno, man. I feel like well, I don't know why I feel like stuck. If I was in a situation, I'd be so tempted by Rogers.
Yeah, it doesn't coincide with my plan though, so
Yeah,
it's a no go.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And I just really like the wildcard in 35 because, but listen, I can't stress this enough. I don't like an early wildcard. So, for example, 30, 31. And the reason for this is that in 35, 36, 37, 38, those who double in 33, they kind of have not the best fixtures. So you're going to have to like, and especially City is City is the problem here because you don't know if they double in 33 or 36 because they look like they're going to go out in the Champions League. And if they go out in the Champions League, I don't see why the Prem would move it forwards to 33 as opposed to 36, which has always been the conventional double if a team reaches the semis. So if they double in 36, they play Southampton, and then they don't double in 33. So those who do the early wild card won't have City, and then they'll need free transfers to basically bring them in and target City for that good fixture run in the double. But they won't be able to because they'll be too busy navigating 34. So for me, there's just too many negatives to an early wild card, and I'd strongly advise on keeping it late because if you look at your team in FPL team, you don't need to make any moves from 30 to 32. Like everyone has a strong team. So what's the point of wildcarding? I just don't see it.
Just the news from Nick. He said apparently Saka has a, I guess, a setback with his injury. He's sidelined for another 8 weeks. So that basically means out for the season, right, Stark? Like another eight
Damn.
weeks.
Yeah, man. Like
That's the
People
season, yeah.
about bringing in Trossard and Nwaneri. I get Nwaneri because he's so cheap and he could just sit on your bench at that cost, and they've got good fixtures, but they don't really double, and their attack is already poor from open play. So I just don't see the upside in going for an Arsenal attacker. Like they're going to have Sterling, Trossard, and Nwaneri. Like, no, thank you, not for me.
I do think that
Well, eight
that does.
weeks.
Sorry, I do think that does maybe help the defenders though. I feel like Arteta will be a bit more conservative. Stuff, don't you think?
I don't know, man. Like I think if you don't have a good attack,
Mhm.
I think consequences your defense suffers because you're constantly chasing the game. You're opening yourself up to get the goal because you have to take more risks, and then you
Mm,
get counter. It's
I
like
see.
Chelsea. Chelsea
Okay.
can't score, and therefore it makes the game tight. And therefore later on, when the other team opens up, and the manager makes their moves to catch them on the counter and get that goal, that the Arsenal will be more vulnerable because they'll be chasing that result. Like they've got a lot to play for. They can't afford to sit back and hope for the best. In the day, they're Arsenal. Teams won't let them
And
sit back. Leicester won't
and they
let Arsenal
can't
sit back.
and they can't draw games. Like the pressure's on them to win games.
But my
So
point is,
yeah,
if
what you're
they
saying
do
makes
go up
sense.
1-0 and whatnot, they'll shut shop though. Stock.
They will,
Exactly.
but how are they going to go up 1-0? They don't have a striker.
True, that's true. That's the tough part. Yeah.
Set pieces.
Well,
Set pieces.
well,
That's it.
yeah, that's the thing. So like they already have such a good defense, they can just play counterattacking and
But we
like
have seen
we'll have
though.
to see how
Sorry,
they'll
stop.
see.
Just to add a point. We have seen teams with strong defense and be consistent. And historically speaking, Palace has been one of those teams that don't have the greatest attack, but they always used to grind out results with maybe 1-0 or near nil.
I disagree with you there, though, K-Man,
Yeah,
because ultimately, Elise, Eze, and Mateta, that's a core attacking force with an out-and-out striker. Arsenal do not have an out-and-out physical striker that's suited to the Prem. So if a team sits back in a low block, how on earth are Arsenal going to score past them without an out-and-out aerial threat in the box, fox in the box? They don't have one. It's all going to be tiki taka, pass outside the box, passing sideways,
no,
hope
I
for a
hear that.
set. So
Maybe
for
it's my
me,
double Arsenal defense bias. I guess I'm hoping for some clean sheets. I'll be honest.
I think the pictures are there, and we'll have to see. But I just think if you don't have a good attack, your defense becomes redundant. Like you can't sit on a 1-0 because you can't score. You're constantly chasing the game. So unless
Yeah.
they prove wrong and they can find a way to score to sit on a 1-0 and get a clean sheet, then I'll happily accept that I'm wrong. But I need to see it first.
Yes. So for those who are listening, I hope our chip strategy made sense. It's all team dependent, as I said. But one thing I would just give everyone advice: it's really important that you do save free hit if you can by not using A209 because there's so much unpredictable. There's so much thing that we do not know in terms of information, like how big the blank will be in 34, and whether there is a potential blank in even 37. There could be a small blank in even 37. So there's so much that we don't know. If you can save it, do save it. I think you will pay dividends later on in the season. But again, it's team dependent, cheap strategy dependent. So I do not want to fault anyone for following with what the strategy is. So
Yeah, just to emphasize like what Sark was talking about in terms of Arsenal, like at least they have their spine intact. You know, like they have like Partey, Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, and Raya all fit. Like defensively, they should be fine. If anything, it gives Ethan Nwaneri a really interesting opportunity to go and express himself. The same for Trossard, the same for Odegaard. Like this gives them an opportunity to say, hey, like go and stamp your authority on like this team and go give yourself a place. By the way, like 8 weeks for Saka would bring him back around game week 32. Just for context. So they only really need to buy enough time for him to come back.
That's a further 8 weeks from where he's already planned return in April.
He's out for the season, bro.
Oh, that's crazy.
I think he's done for the season.
It's
that's crazy. I mean, to be let's be realistic. The only thing Arsenal were fighting for this year was the Champions League. They're not in any of the cups. They're not going to win the Prem. They're basically fighting for top 4 at this point.
Champion League, Arsenal Champion League. They don't go in the same sentence, Kanji. They don't go in the same sentence, Kanji.
Not a chance. I'm sorry, you're not winning. You're not winning.
There's no fucking shot. There's no fucking shot, bro.
Nwaneri is not even old enough to get changed in the dressing room with the players. He has to get changed in a separate room because he's not 18. I'm sorry. I think he's a special talent, but come on, they're not winning the Champions League. That's a stretch.
Oh, bro, Starkey basically said the guy doesn't have, he didn't even grow any pubic hair yet, bro. What we talking about Champions League, bro?
Can't even buy alcohol from the shop yet.
Yo,
that's crazy.
He still has a bedtime routine, bro.
But he is an absolute ball, though, the way. I do think he's a special talent. I can't lie. I think he's incredible.
Yeah.
And he's priced really cheaply as well. His minutes should be excellent.
If
you do like Arsenal.
Yeah, like he is the one I'd probably go for, to be fair, at 4.5.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
So, Kanji, you want to touch on this one? Predicted fixtures for Game Week 25?
Yes, I think like similar to like the Ben Crellin graphic, I really like the way this graphic is. It just helps you illustrate it if you're ever looking to make like your chip strategy and your moves. Like it's very simple. Like if you use the percentages, Aston Villa and Liverpool, they're 100% doubling here. And then it's like you can see like the percentage chance of having a double in game week 33, as well as potentially in game week 36. If you go to the next slide, I found it really interesting, where it's like a lot of us are a little bit worried if there will even be a double game week come game week 36, maybe even in 37 will we have a blank. It seems pretty likely, according to projections, we will have at least one double game week, because if you add the probability of 1 plus 2 plus 3, you're around like 80%. So I think we're going to have an 80% chance of 90% chance of at least one double game week in 36, which is very important. That means that whether you're going to you still have a chance to triple captain in 36. In a double, you have a chance to use your AM in game week 36 in a double. So don't worry too much about that. But keep in mind that there may actually be a blank in game week 37 as well. So it's just interesting. Like you want to pretty much wait to make your moves for game week 36, probably right before into game week 34. You don't really know exactly who you want to bring in for game week 33 because you want to see who is doubling 33, who still plays in 34. So you kind of want to save your transfers to as close to the double game weeks as possible. I mean, look how unlucky I've been. Like going 1 week early on DCL and he's injured now, misses the double. Konza is the same. Watkins is the same. So just keep that in mind and try not to make the mistakes.
This is what it goes back to with 33 double. Like, people stuck. Like, people are going to double up and triple up on these teams, expecting and hoping for a double game week in game week 33. And come game week 33 deadline, we hear this guy's a niggle, that guy's a niggle, that guy's a doubt, this guy's a doubt. And there's absolute chaos. And they're using transfers to mitigate those issues. Meanwhile, they don't have transfers to mitigate game week 34. Do you see the issues?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is going to be chaos, bro.
It's an issue you have to consider because at the end of the day, this is a game that luck is a big part of it. So you have to, like Ken said, put yourself in a position to get lucky and try and not put yourself in a position to get unlucky. So like people will be fingers crossed watching every game, hoping that the likes of their assets don't get injured for bench boost 33.
Whether it be Gordon, whether it be Mateta, whether it be Munoz, like they'll be praying, please don't get injured. I only have 2 transfers, please.
Like it's a risk you have to take. Like I've always believed that a bench boost is most optimal after a wild card, personally, because you can directly set it up and like
extract. You can save your transfers. Yeah,
I agree.
But what's interesting is that like having a good bench might actually be valuable even at the end of the season. Usually we want to take money out of the bench But if there are some blanks coming into 37, at least having a deep bench will help you navigate that.
That's a good point.
Anyway,
That's a
just
good
trying to
point.
look
Yeah.
for pros and cons, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the no-brainer is to move Palmer out and attack the other fixtures because we don't have a double. Our fixtures are quite dry,
Yeah.
and he's ready this season under Maresca in tough games is pants. So
Agreed.
Is there
Agreed.
like a graphic that shows the fixtures up until game week 38 or no?
It does. I do have it. I think it's somewhere here. I think that graphic did show it earlier. This one. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, if you see like Sark is saying, like look at the Chelsea fixtures, they're pretty horrific from 35 till the end. And Palmer's record in big games is bad, like he said. So in order to fund having extra Man City players, you can see how good their fixtures are. They have Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth. Like it looks really good. So selling Palmer in order to get to a Foden or a Holland makes a lot of sense.
If you
Especially
are
if you
free
factor
hitting
in
in
fantasy.
34, you should sell Palmer in 33. I think it's a no-brainer to sell Palmer in 33. If you're free hitting in 34. That's what I think. But again, that's
Exactly.
later down the line. We don't know yet. But yeah.
should we do PFC?
Yeah, let's go to PFC. There you go. Sorry, can you go
Yeah,
ahead?
so this is probably like the best part of the whole pod, PFC. This was from I think 2 weeks ago, so it's not really that relevant, but Stark continues to kick our ass, man. Holy, so consistent. I think this was when Vardy played Spurs. You picked Vardy, I think, right?
Yeah.
Imagine Son blanking versus Leicester. That guy is a bomb, bro. He's a fucking bomb. How are you blanking versus Leicester, bro? Never ever am I gonna own this guy in my FPL team, bro. Never again, bro. Bomb.
Nah, he's overpriced and he's been horrible this year relative to his own standards. Yeah.
You see, when Vardy scored versus Spurs, he went like this, pointing to his gold badge.
Yeah, but that's
He's
a flex. That's a
he's
big
such
flex.
he's such a G, man.
He's a legend, bro.
Yo,
He's
man, I
an
love
absolute
Vardy,
legend.
bro. He's a yeah, facts, bro. Legend, man. Legend. Can't talk trash. But Stark continues to kick our butt. So that was game week 23. Let's move on to, I think, game week 25 this week. Stark, you have first picks, man. Walk us through.
I've gone for Marcus Rashford, fed the streets. Now he's going to feed us some FPL points. You know what I'm saying? He fed the kids. Now it's time to feed the FPL community. And I think if he gets the starts, if he gets Ipswich, oh man, I think he can do damage. And if I can see Emery give him the Liverpool game because of the history between him and Liverpool playing for United. So you know what? I've just gone with it. Double game week. Had to do it, man. Pedro Porro flop. I don't really go for defenders often, and obviously our rule is one defender a week. Then you have to change. But yeah, he's 20% owned, and they're playing United. So I'd like to think United can score, and then Salah captain no brainer.
What, you guys went for a double game because
makes
I'm the
sense.
only one that went for single game because, bro, that's how you know I'm not serious about this shit, bro. I need to change my punt, bro. I need to think of a double game with punt right now. I'm going for fucking Konate or some shit like that, bro. That's my punt, bro. That's a no-brainer, bro. What am I doing? I didn't even think about this shit. Bro, like, Konate is getting clean shit versus Wolves, bro. He's getting signed, bro. Like, what am I doing, bro? What is going on here?
It's
Nah.
there right now. You're locked in.
I'm locked in. Say no more. I'm locked in. That's true. I can't go back now. Dango, bro. Done.
Pass, bro. Like you can't change your captain.
Say no more. Say no more. That's fine. Say no more, bro.
Yo, let him change it, bro. It's fine, man.
I'm not gonna change it, bro. Listen, I'm gonna stand on business, man. Okay, Dango, let's cook, bro. Guardiola, he's a bum. You all know because he doesn't keep clean sheets. But in terms of attacking, he's a G. But is he gonna score a goal every single game? He's not, most likely. And Newcastle are likely to score versus City, so I'll take my chances there. And Salah cap. I mean, fucking, what else is new, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, Vardio is such an interesting asset, bro. I think he got an assist in the Champions League as well. I think maybe it was ruled out. I don't know. But yeah, he's been taking along with points, and it's from an attacking perspective. Once Rodri's back in that team, if Trent leaves, I'm going there the whole season. Like, I've seen enough from him. The last year and a half, he's done enough to impress me. Looking at like my PFC, I had Sabazai. I'm gonna go for a double game with Liverpool player. I can't trust the minutes of Gakpo Diaz. The turnaround between games is so small, but it does feel like he doesn't rate anybody else in the Sabazai role. He's gonna switch like McAllister with Curtis Jones. Gravenberch will probably start both games, but he hasn't really played Harvey Elliott much at all. So I'm just expecting
Jones
Sabazai to
got
start
red
both
card.
games.
Jones got red card, so Jones is not available the next two.
Facts, bro. So maybe Swaza will play deeper. I don't know. Either way, Swaza is a really good pick. He's been linking up and he's been playing much better the
You
last
go
like
Wood
5
as
or
a
6
flop.
games.
You're a hater. You go Wood as a flop. I can't believe this shit. You're a hater, bro. You're a hater, bro.
Nah, we don't want any more Wood, bro. Get
Nah,
this
bro.
Wood out of
Nah, bro. That's my
here.
goat, bro. That's my goat. That's no. I'm not tolerating no Wood hate here, bro.
Nah, bro. I'm tired of this man, bro. Holy 17 points, bro. I swear to God. If he gets another 17 points this week, outscores walk-ins, I'll be
9
so
points. He's getting
distraught.
9 points. 1 goal, 3 bonus points. That's what he's gonna get. Inshallah, bro. Yeah. It's
He's
your
been
team
so
for game.
consistent this year,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. It's your
Yeah,
team for
so
game 24. Yeah.
I had a red arrow on wildcard, so the new achievement unlocked, but that's fine because I didn't have a chip active that gets me points. So like if you added in like the 15 points from a slot or 22 points from a Moise, I'd be on a green arrow. But because I don't have those active, I'm on a red. But overall, it's just I was expecting some sort of points from Rogers and Watkins. That was the most disappointing part. The rest of it, it's fine. And the fact Trent was benched this week means that he's like, he's in training, he's fit. He's probably going to start the next game. So overall, the team is fine. I have no problems with it. I've already explained it already.
Fair
So
enough.
that's how
So
Game
you've
Week
already
24 went.
yeah.
Yeah,
Did you only move
the
this
team is
week?
great. Going to 25. Just
25, did you do
triple
anything?
captain active. Yeah, so triple captain active 25, and the move is to get rid of Everton players every week. So McLenko's gone, Munoz is in. You know what? I did make a mistake on wildcard, eh? I had
What?
0.4 in the bank. I
Hmm.
think Tarkowski was full 0.8. I honestly should have gone there. I had 0.4 in the bank
Yeah, because he's a set
on
piece threat, isn't
Mikalenko.
he? He's a better set piece
Yeah,
threat than Mikalenko,
I
yeah.
I messed that up, bro. I had
Yeah.
faith in Everton to stay in the FA Cup. So I was considering holding Everton for the rest of the season to help me navigate. That's why I didn't go to Tarkowski. But damn, if I knew they were going to be out of the FA Cup and I was going for a 1 week punt, then I would have gone there. But it is what it is. It's fine. Yeah, Munoz is in, so it's all good.
The team looks, listen, if you don't get green arrow with this team, bro, I just don't think, yeah, this may be into the app, bro. I'm sorry, yeah. like how? Like how can you not get green with this fucking, how many doublers do you have? 1, 2, 3, like
Mate,
6 doublers, bro. How you better get a green this week, bro.
well,
Swear to God, bro.
to be fair, if Watkins doesn't play, I'm getting a red arrow. So
Oh, for
let's
fuck's
see what
sake,
happens.
bro. This is Stark, isn't it? Yeah, Stark's team, yeah.
Yeah, Nico Williams and Chris Wood are the saviors, to be honest, bro. Like, without them, I'd be Ian Bill, nothing left. Like, it'd be mudded. But we move, man. What can I say? I admit, just disappointing, bro. Obviously, we do spaces on X, and I was going to host one, and I had it as na 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 na. Arnie Slot was the caption, and I didn't post it because I knew in my gut the game wasn't finished, and Mike Oliver was not blowing his whistle, so I just held it there.
Fucking prick, that Mike Oliver guy, bro. Absolute prick, bro.
I had to change the
Oh my
caption
God.
to Moyes' advantage, and it just was just like getting, bro. I don't know. It was just.
I'm sorry. We need to investigate that guy, by the way. Has he been paid off, bro? Has someone paid this bastard off, bro? Come on, bro. How is the game going to 98 minutes, bro? How? Oh
at the end of the day, they should have dealt with that, man. They should have. They just, bro. Anyways, my bus team. I got a green arrow, but I just think it's an L, man.
It's an L. It's 100% L because those fuckers are gonna come back to slot now, and we don't get nothing off our fucking early planning. We got fucked.
No. A lot of people took hits, to be honest. So
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I didn't take a hit. AM slot. I need him to win both games, bro. Like seriously,
Inshallah,
if he doesn't, it's mudded, bro. I can't lie.
We fucked it. Yeah, we fucked it. Like I fucked it. Like it was a mistake. It was a mistake. Yeah, hindsight or not, it was a mistake. Yeah.
This one's easier than last week, though.
TC's already outscored me for Salah, and I think TC for this week for Salah will cook my Haaland in game week 2 again, and then I think my AM will get outscored as well. So
yeah,
like,
but we're fucked.
People use their chips. Like I'm starting to look at it and I think, yeah, I might be 78k, but if my chips continue to flop in this manner, I don't see myself finishing in the top 100k. So
yeah,
we got
fucking my chips, bro. I fucked my chips.
You're on a green though, so like you're in a good position.
Hanji, we're not optimizing our chip though. If fucking slot doesn't win 2 games, bro, I'm gonna lose it, bro.
The power of that
fraud, bro. The
the
fake ball fraud. He's the fat version of Ten Hag, bro. Stuck. Fat board Ten Hag, bro. That's what he is.
There's people that will use this AM chip in 36 and I just think that, it's just going to be risky. Like if you're sat, let's say, top 50k come 36, you really kind of need luck your side, because people will gain a lot of points on you if they go for underdogs and it comes off.
And the biggest one I fear is that 31 to 33 stock. Remember the one we looked at, the Palace and United underdogs.
I do think a lot of went for 24, 25 though. I do think that it's a minority that saved the AM. So we'll see.
Probably. We'll see. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm happy with my team this week. So
yeah. So looking at your team, this is Stock's team. I think this is Stock's team. This is no. I think I completely fucked it. I completely fucked the teams. I'm sorry, Stock. So you're lining up with same team, right? Next week.
It's just Kirk's starting ahead of
Okay, let me see if I can.
No, just keep it like that, man. Honestly,
sure?
It's not that.
Okay, so
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Sorry,
same
boys.
team, but Kirk's instead of Nico Williams. I bought Kirk's and I sold Lewis Hall and Captain Salah. That's it, man.
They're the same price. Yeah. They're the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Me and Stock on the same boat. I was like 1.45k before the Tarkovsky goal went in last minute. I was celebrating on the chat. I was texting everyone. I was like shitting on them, and I think I celebrated too early. I don't normally do that, and I think karma, hit me in the face. I got slapped in the face, and I had to eat my words, and I had to end my celebration early, and I felt embarrassed, shamed, felt defeated, and apologetic. To be fair, as a slot owner losing to a Moyes who has a squad budget of maybe 10 million. So Kanji, thank you very much for your bold fraud 10 Hag wannabe. Costed me 7-8 points, and I lost 12 to the field, but without complaining further anymore. Listen, still grateful. Alhamdulillah, I'm 2k, bro. Like that's insane. So I don't want to be too I want to be humble at the same time and grateful. Like Mateta has been one of the transfers of the season, along with Chris Wood. I mean, he's just GOAT. So Nico Williams differential. Shout out to Stark, because obviously he made the tweet initially, and I had my eyes on him, but I just didn't know if he was starting too many games. And after speaking to Stark and seeing that fact that he started like the last 7-something games in a row, that's what convinced me, and I realized that he was first choice ahead of Moreno, and I knew I was going to go there. Because the way Frost was keeping clean sheets, there was no chance that I was not going to get Frost defender. They're cheat code.
You know what the funny thing is about Nico Williams? He genuinely almost got a brace in that game. He hit the post.
I know. I saw it. I was watching the game live. I saw it.
Yeah. That haul was deserved from him.
He deserved
it. That Saturday, come 1:15, 1:30, 1:45, I was gassed.
Same,
and then yesterday, I was just on my knees.
No, yesterday we got fucked. You know what? We got fucked, and that's because of that fucking ref. It was rigged. It's rigged. It was rigged. I don't believe it.
Nah, I just have a serious issue with Leicester, man. Like, I just can't. But Everton's team is so shit. I don't know how.
I'm saying they're fucking shit, bro. How did they score 6 goals? They haven't scored 6 goals all season, bro. How did they score 6 goals in 2 games, bro? I'm sorry. How?
Yeah, I don't understand how they're cooking like this, to be fair. It's mental.
How, bro? Beto, turn it to R9.
The study behind a manager bounce it intrigues me so much, because how a manager can come in with the same squad and just completely change the narrative, I just find it so interesting, because the players are the same, and I think Dyche is a good manager, but Everton just look like a good team at the moment, and now they've got Njai out. Beto is playing, and bro, Beto is mid, and he's just scored 3 goals in it.
When India went down, I celebrated. I said, yes, these guys are not scoring today. I celebrated like this. They're not scoring today. Like, I literally was so happy. I said, yeah, India's out. These guys are not scoring nothing today. Nothing.
This is my opportunity to say, sorry, Everton owners, I wasn't familiar with your game.
Same, bro. Same. Apologies for that.
I hold my hands up and apologize. If it wasn't for Wood and Nico, I would have been cooked.
Same. I would have been cooked if it wasn't for Wood and Nico and Mateta. I would be on the red arrow right now, bro. Like,
up Nico in the chat. He's an Everton fan, so it's really nice to have an Everton fan in your circle.
Facts, bro. Up the toughies, bro. Respect, bro. Respect football heritage. Respect rivalry. And yeah, I learned something, bro. I learned something. Yeah, you know,
No.
and
Thanks,
yeah.
bro.
Fuck the toffees.
How are you
Yeah.
lining up for next week?
This is how I'm lining up for next week. I am looking at one of the moves, and I was going to talk to you guys about, which is a sell haul for Hoyson. I was going to call him Hutchison again. Hoyson, sorry, Hoyson, and bench Nico Williams. Do you guys like that move, or do you think I should just roll and ride out with Nico Williams and whole rotation?
Easy move.
Yeah,
It's just long term
Yeah.
sense. So and if you're free hitting in 33, which is the plan,
yeah,
you don't have to worry about haul. You just free hit him in 33 for the double.
exactly. Yeah, correct. Yeah, yeah, facts. And I'm navigating blank 29, and I would need a boom up defender, to be honest, in 29.
And you
So
want this is the entry point, Southampton. Do you know what I mean? Like you
yeah,
want to get.
exactly. Yeah, facts. I agree. That'll be it, guys. So I'll be making one transfer, and that'll be on the deadline day. That'll be to take out Hall and bring in Hoyson and start him ahead of Nico Williams. Otherwise, standard your double Arsenal defense, Trent, and obviously Salah, Palmer, Clavert. And there's one dilemma, one question I had for you guys. Would you guys bench Mbima for Ahmad? Disclaimer: I have an agenda against Mbima. Disclaimer: I genuinely have an agenda because do you remember how I started the hate for JP Stark? It was when I started watching him and he was dropping deep and he wasn't really involved in the attack. Like that's how I start to feel about Mbimo. I know that sounds crazy. Like Mbimo, I've owned him last season. He was cooking for me, and I know what he is. He's FPO, like he's an FPO pick. I know it. But it's just that recently I feel like Frank is doing too much. You know, switching positions and whatnot.
Kanji said it best in a space. If you're owning Boomo, just don't watch Brentford, bro. Just take the points. Top 3 point scorer in the league. I'm sorry. You objectively can't hate on a player who's top 3 points scorer in the league. That's as simple as
That's
that.
insane. He's third in the game.
Well, I think he's definitely top 4. Like minimum. Who's higher than him? Salah and Palmer?
Wood?
Maybe Isak? I don't know. He's definitely up there as a midfielder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he'll be top 5 type thing. Yeah.
But he's cooking. He's got home fixtures. You brought him in. I'm keeping Bruno because I just can't sell a United player before. Well, I can't sell any player before playing Tottenham. So, yeah, I get why you want to play Ahmad.
Yeah.
I just don't know who you would bench, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe you would bench Clivert, depending on the news with his son being born. I don't know.
Yeah, but if he's not available, he's not available. Ahmad is just gonna come in. You know, I don't need to really stress about that, right?
That's very true. Yeah, I don't know who you'd bench there, to be honest, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't.
Yeah, that's tough, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you, guys. Kanji, any thoughts before we go to chat?
Bro, Ahmad is gonna score this week.
Oh, just piss off, Kanji. Make me say that he's not gonna score, so that I'm a bit confident. Now you're gonna put me even more dilemmas in my head.
I mean, I saw Man United in big games score goals. They're good at sitting deep and counterattacking. It's perfect. That's the problem.
It's a problem. It's anyways a dilemma. Anyways, I will see.
But you have a good team, so it's all good.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you have a good team.
True. Should we take some questions from the chat and then we'll close it out? I think it was a really good pod,
Wait,
bro.
can I ask you? Oh, wait. Take some questions in the chat. I'll have a question at the end.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, okay, no problem. Stark, you wanna cook from the chat?
IBK. Look, listen. I'll be honest, man. IBKs and spaces will host the space. Let's answer the questions in the space, man. Majority of these people will be in our space.
That's true. So Michael, is Moise to Emery an obvious switch? Yes, Michael. Let me see who else is there. Buffy, is he in our spaces normally? I think he is.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, there's not any like new viewers that's got a question. Guys, if you have like, we'll give a quick like maybe a minute to if anyone has any questions. Obviously, not the guys on spaces.
I'll ask a.
Just make sure.
Questions in the meantime.
Just lastly, I just want to say this before I don't say anything else. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video, and secondly, make sure you follow us on Twitter because we have definitely built an engaged community on X in Spaces. We get regular faces all the time, and it's very personal on X. You can ask questions, and we'll respond to you personally. So if you don't follow us on X, I'm sure it's linked in this YouTube account somewhere.
It's linked. Yeah, it's on the description.
Yeah. We actually had some really big like followers come join our spaces. Like we had FPL Salah, so Abdul joined. We have Andy Martin, who's a regular listener and loves us being a speaker as well. So just come join us if you're interested in to talk FPL rather than just like listening to other people talk about it. Just come follow us on Twitter. But here's my question to you guys: like of the assets in the game right now, who do you feel are like underpriced assets? Like going into next season, they'll be like more expensive. I'll give you an example. I think Cliver and Semenyo will be 7.0 next year. What else do you guys think?
I would never buy Semenyo for 7.0.
Depends, man. Depends. If he's playing 90 minutes and he's on pens and they're cooking with the attack, then why wouldn't you? It's like Mbumo this season. He was 7 mil, and it's the exact same thing.
But he is not on pens though. Semenyo's not on pens.
No, I'm saying Cliver. You said you wouldn't buy Cliver.
No, I said Semenyo, not Cliver. Sorry, Semenyo.
Oh, okay. Fair dues. Underpriced. I'd say probably Morgan Rogers. That's obvious.
Interesting, yeah. Even Forest Defense. Like Forest Defense is all underpriced.
I think Aina will be very expensive next season. 6 point maybe. He's gonna be 6 million. Aina.
Yeah.
But he's already expensive now.
Definitely. He'll probably be 5.5.
Chris Wood is the most underpriced striker in the game, though. Chris Wood is hands down. Hands freaking down.
Like, tell you who will be underpriced next season because of the season they've had, and that will be Spurs assets and United assets. Those players will have a decline in price for next season because of their position in the league. And if they change it around, it's just something you take advantage of. So, like, I can see Son dropping to maybe 8 mil. So, like, those are little things you got to look out for.
Even Son for 8 mil is not a good asset, bro. Right now, bro. Like,
yeah, but we're talking about season, bro.
No, yeah.
If he's playing one game a week, maybe he doesn't get any early subs. I mean, we'll see when we get there, bro.
Exactly.
It's true. But that's yeah.
Any questions in the chat, or are we good?
No, we're good. We're good. Yeah.
Lastly, thoughts on differential Arseman like Potter and Marco Silva. I think,
yeah.
It's very, very difficult. If you look at the chip as linear as there's the double game week on offer, then you go for that. But if you look deeper, then if there's potential for, an upset that's viable, I can see why you'd maybe want to go there. But I do think so many factors go into that decision, man. Emery just makes sense for me personally, if you had Moyes.
I agree. I was going to ask about stock, maybe it's for the next week pod. And maybe we're looking ahead. To be honest, there's too much information we don't know. Like, for example, a punt in Gameweek 26 on Moyes, for Potter or Pep. Do you have any change of thoughts on that? If there is an option to go Pep to back.
Yeah, let's see what injuries are saying, and let's see what the table is saying.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, the way that Real Madrid cooked Man City, there's no way you should be on Pep. Bro.
Yeah, I'm not on Pep, bro. I honestly, Pep does not play pragmatic. Like, he's got a big ego. He's not going to sit back and counter Liverpool. He's going to go at them, leave space behind, and he's going to get cooked.
Fair enough.
That's my opinion. So
it's so hard to bet against Liverpool, though. I cannot believe people. Like, imagine people that are going to be on Moyes and are going to go to Emery, then they're going to go to Pep. Like, that's crazy. What the hell?
And that's crazy. Anyway. That's actually crazy. You're right. If they back against Liverpool 3 times, that's actually crazy. I agree with that statement. But I'm only backing against him once, which is with Pep.
If because Slot's drawn a game, I'm kind of forced into maybe going for an underdog in 26. But let's see what he does in this double.
That's what I'm thinking, Star, because we're not optimizing the chip then.
I need to make some ground up, and let's just see where it goes, bro.
Maybe I go Potter, man. Potter might fucking cook, but Somerville's injured now. That's another problem.
Somerville was mid anyway, and he didn't play, so it makes no difference.
You think so? He was playing though, I think.
Well, what did he do? Tell me what he's done.
That's true. Yeah. It looks good on the dribbling the ball and whatnot, but yeah.
Means nothing.
It's more so Ferguson though. Ferguson will be an impact player.
Yeah,
Ferguson might cook him. Yeah.
It should be Kudus, Bowen, Paqueta, and then Ferguson. Somerville, like, he has potential, but he's not been doing it this season. But yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Yeah.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you guys so much for
that was amazing.
Yeah. Go on, stop. Kanji, if you can close out. It's fine.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you know what? I think. Do you know what episode this is? This
17.
week?
17.
17. That's actually my favorite number, by the way. So hopefully it brings us some good luck. And shout out to everybody listening. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Don't forget to drop a comment in the comment section, like the video, and we'll chat again next week.
Thank you. Peace.